you're in this trailer, and or in this, not trailer, but storage unit, right?
This is a storage unit. We're live, Ryan. We're live from a storage unit in Salem, Utah. I've become a newsman, Ryan. What do you think about that?
I think you're pretty good at it.
Well, we're going to talk to Ryan. This is Ryan Westwood, the CEO of Simplus, my good friend. We've known each other for a long time. We both managed Gandolfo's back when the world was different. We were so innocent then. The last time I was anywhere in public was with Ryan Westwood at the Jazz game against the Raptors. And we found out, what was it, 24 hours later, that Rudy Gobert at that Jazz game had COVID-19, and it rocked the world. I mean, the world's never been the same since that thing. But that's the last time, Ryan, that I haven't been in this storage. This is a storage unit. Like, this is where I live now. This is artificial light. Like, I don't even know what outside looks like. Crazy.
It's impressive. You couldn't tell.
Well, I wanted to bring you on because, one, I think you're one of the greatest leaders that I know, and one of the greatest leaders in the state and in Silicon Slopes. And you're managing a team all remotely right now. And I wanted to talk to you about maintaining culture during this time. And I don't think there's anyone better at doing that than you. And I know you have some slides, so I'll have you put those up and kind of talk to the audience about how you're doing it.
Well, there's three things, Clint, that I was thinking about. These are kind of the major adjustments we're making right now. One is, I had a talk with another Silicon Slopes CEO, and he said, Ryan, look, I have 600 employees, and I've always had them in Utah. At least 90% of them have been sitting in front of me. So when I run meetings, I get their feedback, and I have a feel for the room. And he said, I had the most uncomfortable meeting I've ever had. I ran a company meeting on Monday, and I sat on Zoom and I talked to myself. And so the first thing is CEOs are having to adjust to how they do things and how they operate the business. And so employees know, CEOs too are trying to figure out, and leaders, how they're navigating things and how they can best lead. The second thing is, I think we've got to figure out how to keep morale high and how to stay positive and focused. And so I'm going to talk about some ways we can do that. And then the other thing that I get in surveys or feedback from our employees is that they're feeling alone. They're feeling like, they're not connecting as much as they used to. You used to go into the office and you're giving hugs or high fives and you're eating together. And so people are feeling really alone. And then I think morale is an issue, and then leaders are adjusting. And that trifecta is causing a lot of change in business. And so one of the things that we've been lucky enough to have been able to do, Clint, is for 6 years, we've been living this way at Simplus. Our employees are on 4 continents. We're in most of the states, and 90% of my employees work from home, only 10 work in the office behind me. So it's actually something we're used to. And so I think there's some tips. We kind of have a 6-year lead on this that I think will be really helpful to all 3 audiences: employees, CEOs, and then those investors that support those companies. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about, Clint. And I thought I'd share a couple slides. And the only reason the slides are helpful is for the visual, to see, okay, what are they doing at Simplus that I could apply at my company? So let me pull those up for you. Clint, you just tell me when you see those and I'll speak to a few of them.
You're good.
Okay, great. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you to this. So I talked about feeling separate and alone in different offices. And so we've done a couple things to make sure people still feel connected, even though they may be in remote locations. So the first thing that we do is every meeting at Simplus has a theme. So we may do a gift card raffle, and we will spin a wheel on Zoom and cast it, or we will say, name your favorite song, and before anybody speaks, they'll go through a song that they love. Or one of our meetings, we did dad jokes, and anytime someone speaks, they tell a dad joke. These things cost nothing, but they increase morale and they make people feel connected. And nothing's better than building trust between employees by getting to know each other. So we've had lots of, another one we did is bring your pet on your Zoom call. And another one we did was show and tell. Bring something that you want to be able to show other people that means a lot to you. There's a lot of ways we can connect each other in a deeper way than just having a bland kind of Zoom meeting. These are some examples of our latest connections. We do board games online together and do prizes, and we send Uber Eats gift cards to employees in advance. We do wellness activities over Zoom. Well, actually, we have Richard Simmons night coming up where we're doing workouts together. This is Bob Ross night where we're painting together. These are, I think, great ways for employees to lift them and help them to connect with each other. So I thought those are some good things that are helpful. I'll stop there for a minute, Clint, and then I can dive into some other areas, but I'll stop there for a moment.
So what has the response been from your employees on this, Ryan?
Well, I think that one is they realize they can have fun even though we're in separate locations. And we've had to follow a couple rules that have made a big difference. One is most of the time people don't feel really comfortable when 600 people are on Zoom raising their hand and saying something like they do in person. So I suggest heavily relying on, and I'd say for companies, have a Slack channel just for that company meeting, and then have somebody next to the people running the meeting giving you updates on what employees are saying and thinking. That it helps the flow of the meeting. The other major adjustment that helps employees, and the feedback we got, is they don't want to just hear from one person talking to the camera. We prepare the meetings in advance and we prep people, and we'll probably have 20 meetings, 20 people in an hour-long meeting, Clint, talking. And it breaks it up. And so a lot of people are involved in the meeting, and it creates more energy throughout the meeting. So I think those things make a big difference over where if you used to do a meeting in person, you might have the CEO talk the whole time. That doesn't really work on a remote meeting.
Right. Go deeper on your deck. I want to see what else you have here.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. So tell me as soon as you see that.
We can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Hopefully I pulled back out of it, Clint. I apologize. Okay, so these are some of the things I recommend for different meetings. These are ideas that we love. We did a virtual potluck where everybody brings food that they love and shares that food with their coworkers, things that they love. We hired a chef and we asked the chef to cook a meal. Everyone took their laptops into the kitchen and then they cooked a meal together with one chef across the world. And so there's all these things that you maybe don't realize that you can do to connect each other. And I think that it also increases just morale. One of the things we did is said, find a cool spot in your house to take the meeting. So we have employees in Florida sitting in swimming pools. We have employees laying on hammocks in the backyard, but it just livens things up. And when companies think about culture, sometimes they don't realize there's really low-hanging fruit that doesn't add expense, that can create a great experience. This was one meeting where we told everybody to dress up like their boss, and people loved it, right? They had a great time. This is where we had the chef cook for all of our employees. This one is where we had different themes. We told them to find the goofiest hat they could find in their house to get on the call. Another one, we told everybody, whoever could get a Simplus license plate in their state, we'd send them a $500 gift card. So all these things are, they create good what I would say good morale, and they make things fun, they connect you, and it makes the meeting less monotonous.
Turn your video on so we can see you, Ryan. I
You got
love
it, man.
this. This is what I'm saying. Like you're an incredible leader, and the fact that you have put so much time and thought into this, I would recommend all employees, employers, CEOs, and leaders of teams kind of follow this direction. How's Simplus? I mean, how are you doing during this time?
Oh man, I have to say that the timing of our acquisition was uncanny. Clint, the day that you and I were at the Jazz game, I remember telling you I'm feeling anxious right now because we signed a definitive agreement, but the closing doesn't occur till Friday. And so I woke up early Friday morning. We had the closing call, and then I remember flipping the TV on, and Donald Trump announced a pandemic and a national emergency a few hours after the closing. And so I'll never forget that day. It's almost like, on September 11th, you remember where you were. I was doing a route for Questar, and I was looking at gas meters, and I was 18, 19 years old. I'll remember that moment where he's saying, hey, we have a pandemic, and it was a few hours after we closed. And I was just, my heart was full of gratitude, to be honest, Clint, that we had finalized the transaction, and the timing we did. And it's been really nice from the perspective of now we're marketing more to Infosys and their customer base, and that's helping us offset. So it's been good from that standpoint, but it's definitely been an interesting adjustment. One of the major things that's unique that I haven't talked a lot about with this acquisition is it's not only us being acquired as a subsidiary, but we're leading a reverse integration of Infosys Salesforce business unit. So this will add hundreds, if not thousands, of employees into Simplus over the next couple of years. And so we're figuring out how to do a reverse integration, which is a totally new thing to me.
Well, you getting in there right under the wire is, I don't know that that's chance or luck, my friend. That's pretty incredible.
Yep. And I thank my lucky stars. I've got to thank God for that one, Clint.
Yeah, of course, man. Unbelievable. Well, I'm so proud of you. I love you, brother. Thanks for coming on. We should have you on again soon.
Love you too, brother. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
Okay. See ya.
All right. See you, man. Bye-bye.